Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we've got an upper intermediate level lesson for you all about money.
That's right. We are going to talk about the stock market. So a very interesting topic, very current as well, because, well, throughout the world, stock markets are not doing very well.
That's right. And you may have seen on the television a lot of information about this. So today we're going to hopefully explain some of the things and phrases and words that you've been hearing. But first, we've got a couple of important indicators, a couple of acronyms, actually, that you're going to hear about. So let's look at those in today's vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
All right, so the first word that we have on vocabulary preview is the NASDAQ. NASDAQ.
NASDAQ. So this is basically the American stock market.
Right. It's an acronym. Now, it's a really, really long acronym, so we're not going to get into it, but it is basically the American stock market where all these companies are trading stock. Publicly traded companies.
Great. So publicly traded companies, you're basically trading their stocks through NASDAQ.
Right. And now the next one that we have is an indicator which tells us how well some companies or some stock are doing, and that's the Dow Jones indicator.
Dow Jones indicator. So maybe if the Dow Jones is really low for something, we think, man, it's not doing so well.
Right.
If it goes up, things are improving.
Right. So usually the Dow Jones it's based upon the 50 biggest companies in the United States, the 50 biggest publicly traded companies. Now, you can divide it into like industrial companies or pharmaceutical companies, etc. But in general, that's the indicator and how it works.
Great. So let's take a listen to today's dialogue and find out how these words are used in context. And we'll be back in a moment to talk about what's going on.
Sorry to bother you, sir, but I have some bad news.
What is it?
Well, the stock market just took a huge plunge and we've lost a lot of money.
What do you mean? What happened?
There are many factors that weigh in, but NASDAQ is down 200 points. The Dow Jones indicator also suffered. Our portfolio is worth half of what it was worth 1 week ago.
How is this possible? You are supposed to be talking to our stockbrokers and making sure that our securities and investments are safe and making a profitable return.
I know, sir. We didn't expect a bull market to become a bear market all of a sudden. On the other hand, you still have some high-yield trash bonds and government bonds that will give us enough liquidity to cut our losses and reinvest in emerging markets. We could potentially make this tragedy work for us and make us think outside the box.
Do what you have to do. One other thing, don't tell the rest of the stockholders about this. If they find out, it's the end of this company.
All right, we're back. So a lot of interesting words there. I think a lot of them were very specific to the stock market and very, maybe a little bit difficult. So why don't we take a look at a couple of those and language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Okay, so this first word is a very important word in banking and finance. We talk about portfolios a lot. So portfolio.
Right. So basically a portfolio is the variety of things that you own. For example, in the stock market, it could be stocks, it could be bonds, it can be mutual funds, etc. Or, for example, if you're a company, your product portfolio could be all the products that your company owns.
That's right. So in this case, our portfolio is worth half what it was a week ago. And so this is a sentence that means, we've lost half of the money we invested.
Right.
All of our investments are in a portfolio. We talk about them as a portfolio. And when we lose money, we mean we say our portfolio is worth less now than it was before.
Exactly. And well, moving on, he starts to talk about the bull market and the bear market. So what is this all about?
Well, a bull is an animal with horns.
Right.
And a bear is another animal. So we're not talking about animals here.
Right.
We're talking about special finance phrases.
Right. So the bull market would be again, talking about companies and trading. It would be maybe a market that's growing very rapidly, that's very, very strong. That's a bull market.
So people often talk about China's bull market, right?
Right.
How China continues to grow and grow and grow and grow. But a market that slows down, like the United States last year, would be be a bear market.
Right. So think of a bear. Maybe it's sleeping. It goes it's into hibernation. That's a bear market. So a slow market. It's not really growing.
Very good. But talking about a portfolio again, we might have stocks, but in this case, the two people are talking about their bonds.
Right.
So he says you still have some high yield trash bonds and government bonds. What's a high yield bond and what's a trash bond?
Okay, so when we think about the word yield is how much it gives, right? So how much we are getting from it. So something that is high yield means that you're getting a lot from it.
For example, this orange tree yields 300 oranges per year.
Okay,
That's how much we get from it.
Exactly. So we're getting 300 oranges. That's how much it's yielding. And so basically that's what yield means. So when we talk about trash bonds, this on the other hand, it's a word that's maybe a little bit tricky, but a bond is a promise that you get from the seller that he's going to pay you back the money that you give him with interest. Right? But a trash bond is a very risky bond. It means that the seller might not pay you back because, he's still trying to get all the money.
All right, but a high yield trash bond means that you might make a lot of money from this bond unless, of course, it's not very dependable.
Exactly. So
it's risky.
Of course, since it's riskier, it has more yield.
Great. So high yield trash bond. And then what about this? They will give us liquidity to cut our losses. Liquidity. We hear all about liquidity in finance.
Exactly. Maybe in your company, the accountant will talk about this. And that's basically just to have money, cash in hand. So you have money to pay things or to buy things, right?
So it's available.
Available, yeah. Not with credit. The opposite of credit.
Okay, liquidity. And finally, instead, what are we going to do? Let's think outside the box. We could reinvest in emerging markets.
And this is a very hot topic lately, talking about emerging markets. So to emerge means to come up, right? To rise.
Yeah, to come out. So it's almost like new or growing markets. So in this case, an emerging market would be, for example, the Southeast Asian market, which is growing quickly, or even you could say West African market. We're talking about places in the world that aren't established. They're not old and dependable. They're new and exciting.
Right. So they're coming up. So that's an emerging market. So a lot of very interesting words and phrases. They're very related to our topic. And so why don't we move on now? Let's take a look at two key phrases on Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
This first phrase is something we've heard a lot about in the last year or two with things not going so well in the world of finance. The first one, here we go, to cut our losses.
Okay, so let's cut our losses. So when you talk about cutting your losses, that means to try and stop losing money somehow. Maybe sell early.
That's right. So in this case, we're losing money. Let's stop now. Let's stop everything. Cut our losses. That means cut them away, forget about them, throw them away, and start again. Okay, so we could say, my business is failing. I'm going to cut my losses, sell the business, and start again.
Right. That's exactly it. So to cut your losses means to stop doing something, maybe sell it, and stop losing money.
Basically, you accept the fact that you lost it. You can't get it back, and you start again.
So when they were talking about investing in emerging markets, he said, well, maybe we could do this, and that would force us to think outside the box.
Okay, this is a great phrase, and you might hear this in meetings a lot or from your manager. What's going on here is these two people are talking about how they lost a lot of money. The economy is bad, and they've been doing things in a normal way for a long time. It's not working. Let's think outside the box. That means let's be creative. Let's try and discover new ways of doing things that will yield positive results.
That's right. This is a very, very common phrase, very widely used in business or when you're talking about ideas is people tell you to think outside the box, to maybe break some of the rules, right?
Right. Don't just think the way that you always do. Don't do the same thing over and over. Do something new, be creative, come up with something great. So that's thinking outside the box.
Right. Very good. So a lot of great phrases there. I think we've learned quite a bit. Why don't we listen to the dialogue one last time, and we'll be back to talk a little bit more about this very interesting topic.
Sorry to bother you, sir, but I have some bad news.
What is it?
Well, the stock market just took a huge plunge and we've lost a lot of money.
What do you mean? What happened?
There are many factors that weigh in, but Nasdaq is down 200 points. The Dow Jones indicator also suffered. Our portfolio is worth half of what it was worth 1 week ago.
How is this possible? You are supposed to be talking to our stockbrokers and making sure that our securities and investments are safe and making a profitable return.
I know, sir. We didn't expect a bull market to become a bear market all of a sudden. On the other hand, you still have some high-yield trash bonds and government bonds that will give us enough liquidity to cut our losses and reinvest in emerging markets. We could potentially make this tragedy work for us and make us think outside the box.
Do what you have to do. One other thing, don't tell the rest of the stockholders about this. If they find out, it's the end of this company.
So I remember being a little kid and watching TV with my parents, and on the news there was always the business segment, and in this you'd always hear the Nasdaq is down 10 points. The Dow Jones Industrial today is down 10 points. Yesterday was up 2. That's an average of 8. Okay.
Yeah, it's very complicated, especially if you take a look also in the newspaper. Sometimes it shows you different publicly traded companies, and it has a bunch of numbers. It's a very interesting topic. It's almost a science, I think.
Very much a science, and some people have made a lot of money playing the stock market and trying to buy stocks when they're low, wait until they're high, sell them off, and make tons.
Yeah, it's pretty much analyzing risk, so making calculated decisions, and that's why they use all these formulas and all these different ratios and ways to ponder how much they should invest or what would they gain, and so it's very, very interesting. Many people compare it to gambling, but it's kind of like gambling, but not really, because you don't really depend on luck. You kind of make calculated decisions.
And sometimes you're trading for big companies, or even parts of big markets, like parts of entire countries' businesses. Yeah, so
a lot of people, for example, stockbrokers will invest a group of workers' retirement funds. They will take those funds and be like, hey, you're maybe getting 5% from the bank for keeping your money there. Give me the money and I'll give you 25% yield on your investment. So so obviously they're playing not only their reputation, but also with other people's life savings.
And that's why a lot of people lost money when 2 years ago the bubble really burst in a lot of areas like real estate. Stock prices went down. The United States went into a recession, and all these people's retirement funds, their savings, they lost it. And so you got to be careful with this kind of stuff and do your homework.
In today's era of economic globalization and rapid technological advancement, the ease of moving money around has drastically changed how people live and do business. Whether to cope with unexpected financial shortfalls or to seize investment opportunities, borrowing has become an indispensable part of modern society. When faced with various economic needs, people often choose to obtain additional financial support through banks, credit cards, online lending platforms, or other means. This borrowing behavior not only serves as a tool for short-term capital allocation, but also reflects long-term credit management and financial planning. At the same time, the responsibilities, risks, and accompanying management measures involved in borrowing remind every borrower that only by adopting a scientific and rational attitude toward borrowing can they enjoy the convenience of funds while avoiding potential economic pitfalls and financial risks. From a historical perspective, borrowing is not a new phenomenon, but has evolved alongside the continuous development of human socio-economic activities. As early as ancient times, various forms of lending existed, whether in the form of credit in commercial trade or financial transactions among the nobility, all reflecting the important role of borrowing in the socio-economy. With the spread of the cash-based economy and the gradual establishment of financial systems, lending activities became institutionalized and were regulated and developed through laws, contracts, and later credit systems. In modern society, especially after the continuous innovation of financial markets in the late 20th century, borrowing is no longer limited to traditional bank loans but has expanded to include credit card overdrafts, private lending, online lending, and other forms, forming a multi-tiered and all-encompassing financial ecosystem. Today, borrowing has become a common choice for individuals and businesses to meet financial needs, especially in the context of increasing economic uncertainty, whether for daily household expenses, emergency medical costs, or working capital required for business expansion. Borrowing provides a timely and flexible solution. However, because borrowing involves the flow of funds and the transfer of risks, it also carries a series of complex responsibilities and risks. Borrowers often need to carefully assess their ability to repay, clearly define the purpose of each loan, and create a realistic repayment plan after evaluating different borrowing options. At the same time, factors such as interest rates, fees, repayment methods, and default clauses in various loan products are all elements that borrowers must carefully understand and weigh. Only by fully recognizing these details and potential risks can borrowers make informed decisions and avoid irrational borrowing paths due to temporary financial needs. For many, borrowing is not just an economic activity, but also a reflection of responsibility. When borrowers sign loan contracts, they are essentially entering into an agreement with financial institutions or lenders. This agreement not only stipulates the use and repayment of funds, but also has a profound impact on the borrower's credit and future economic activities. Timely repayment, reasonable budgeting, and a thorough understanding of loan terms are basic financial management principles that are both obligations of the borrower and important safeguards for maintaining personal credit. In many cases, a solid credit history can open doors to more loans and better terms down the road. Conversely, late repayments and defaults can lead to a decline in credit scores and even legal actions, causing long-term financial distress for individuals and families. Therefore, in the decision-making process of borrowing, borrowers must not only consider immediate financial needs, but also plan their repayment and financial arrangements prudently from a long-term perspective to avoid falling into debt accumulation and vicious cycles. At the same time, the continuous advancement of financial technology has provided borrowers with more management tools and risk warning mechanisms. In the past, borrowers' repayment statuses often relied on the statistical systems of banks or lending platforms. Today, with the help of various smart accounting software, automatic repayment reminders, and online credit report services, borrowers can more intuitively grasp their income and expenditure status and repayment progress. These technological tools not only enhance the transparency of personal financial management, but also reduce the risk of overdue payments due to negligence. Meanwhile, financial institutions use big data analysis and AI-driven risk management systems to monitor borrowers' credit status in real time, identify potential risks in advance, and take corresponding measures, thereby establishing a relatively comprehensive risk management system in the lending market. The dynamic between borrowers and lenders in this data-driven and tech-savvy environment not only makes capital flow more efficient, but also provides strong support for the stable operation of the entire financial ecosystem. In this context, borrowing has taken on diverse and personalized characteristics. Traditional bank loans and credit card borrowing still dominate, but at the same time, various new online lending platforms are emerging, attracting a large number of consumers with their convenience and efficiency. These platforms often use internet technology to simplify the borrowing process, shorten approval times, and offer flexible repayment options to meet the needs of different borrowers. However, as market competition intensifies, these new lending platforms face issues such as information asymmetry and inadequate risk control while attracting users. Borrowers need to carefully compare interest rates, fees, repayment terms, and other details among various platforms to choose the loan product that best suits their actual situation. This variety of market options makes borrowing a flexible solution for financial needs, while also demanding stronger financial management skills from borrowers. In summary, borrowing in modern society is both a common means of capital allocation and an important activity related to personal credit, household finances, and the stability of the entire financial market. The prevalence of borrowing has made capital flow more efficient and economic activities more dynamic, but at the same time, the accompanying responsibilities and risks cannot be ignored. Whether facing short-term capital turnover or seizing long-term investment opportunities, every borrower must conduct a thorough risk assessment, plan the use of funds and repayment schedules reasonably, and ensure their financial health. Only by clearly understanding the complexity and multiple responsibilities behind borrowing can borrowers enjoy the convenience of funds while effectively guarding against potential risks such as high interest rates, debt accumulation, and credit damage, setting the stage for future money moves. In this process, all sectors of society, whether financial institutions, oversight agencies, or consumers themselves, are continuously exploring and improving the ways of managing borrowing. Financial institutions are constantly refining product designs and risk control measures to provide borrowers with more transparent and fair loan options. Oversight agencies are actively formulating and improving relevant laws and regulations to maintain market order and protect consumer rights. And borrowers are steadily enhancing their financial know-how through experience, learning to use various technological tools and information resources to achieve real-time monitoring and scientific management of their financial status. This ongoing, collaborative effort to refine the process has breathed new life and meaning into borrowing, an age-old yet ever-relevant economic activity in today's world. Against the backdrop of the increasing prevalence of borrowing practices and the continuous advancement of financial technology, borrowers are increasingly realizing that merely obtaining financial support is insufficient. The key to maintaining personal financial health lies in scientifically managing these funds and controlling borrowing risks. With so many loan products and borrowing options available, many people are beginning to focus on responsible borrowing, striving to make thorough preparations before borrowing and strictly adhering to repayment plans afterward. Borrowing money not only requires meeting short-term financial needs, but also constitutes a long-term project of credit management and financial planning. To this end, borrowers need to approach from multiple angles, carefully formulate realistic repayment budgets, reasonably allocate income and expenses, and utilize various modern financial tools to monitor their financial status in real time to prevent adverse effects on their credit and economy due to unexpected circumstances. In practical operations, borrowers must first establish a correct sense of responsibility. Each loan is a contract, representing the lender's trust in the flow of funds and the borrower's commitment to their own financial situation. Before signing a loan contract, borrowers should read every clause in detail, understanding key details such as interest rates, fees, repayment terms, and default liabilities. Only by truly understanding the contract can unnecessary economic losses due to information asymmetry be avoided in the future. At the same time, borrowers need to formulate realistic repayment plans based on their income levels and potential future expenditures. Such plans should not only include monthly repayment amounts and times, but also reserve a certain proportion of emergency funds to cope with unexpected situations. By planning their income and expenses wisely, borrowers can ensure timely loan repayments even during unexpected financial pressures. Nowadays, the rise of various smart financial tools has provided great convenience for loan management. Whether it is the automatic payment services offered by banks or third-party accounting software and online credit report query platforms, these tools can help borrowers more intuitively understand their financial dynamics. Borrowers can use these tools to regularly check account balances, monitor repayment progress, and even receive automatic reminders as the repayment date approaches, thereby reducing the risk of overdue payments due to negligence. At the same time, these tools can also categorize and analyze expenditures in detail, helping borrowers better identify the flow of funds and adjust budget plans based on actual situations. Real-time monitoring and smart alerts not only boost personal financial management efficiency, but also add a safety layer to the borrowing process, ensuring that borrowers remain in control. Of course, risk prevention is always a top priority in the loan management process. Borrowers should comprehensively assess their repayment ability before borrowing, considering not only current income but also estimating potential future changes, such as income declines, rising living costs, or emergencies. Only with a full understanding of risks can one live within their means and avoid irresponsible borrowing. For those with unstable income sources or existing debt burdens, choosing low-amount, short-term loan products is often more prudent. Additionally, borrowers should avoid opening multiple loan channels simultaneously, as multiple borrowings can easily lead to debt accumulation, ultimately forming an unmanageable financial burden. Once debt begins to snowball, it not only affects daily life but may also damage personal credit, creating serious obstacles to future financing. To avoid this, Borrowers should compare loan products from different institutions and choose the one that best fits their needs and repayment capacity. In facing borrowing risks, lenders and regulatory agencies are continuously improving risk control measures, working together to create a transparent, fair, and secure lending market. Many financial institutions use big data analysis and artificial intelligence technology to monitor borrowers' credit status in real time, identifying potential risks in advance and issuing warnings. For example, when a borrower's repayment records show abnormalities, the system automatically triggers a risk alert, requiring the borrower to communicate with the lender promptly and adjust the repayment plan if necessary. Meanwhile, regulatory authorities are actively improving relevant laws and regulations to ensure that every lending activity operates within a legal framework. Strict regulatory measures can not only effectively prevent borrowers from falling into financial difficulties due to poor management, but also ensure the stability of the entire financial market, preventing systemic risks caused by a large number of bad loans. This multi-party coordinated risk prevention mechanism enhances the trust between borrowers and lenders and creates a healthy, sustainable development environment for the market. In this context, borrowers' financial literacy is particularly important. Only by continuously improving their financial management capabilities and familiarizing themselves with the characteristics and potential risks of various loan products can they make scientific and rational decisions when facing financial needs. Borrowers should use various means to continuously learn relevant financial knowledge, participate in professional training, or consult financial advisors, thereby improving their understanding of interest rates, fees, and other contract terms. At the same time, by regularly checking their credit reports, borrowers can quickly spot and fix any errors or issues that might harm their credit, keeping their credit score in good shape. Good credit not only helps borrowers obtain more favorable loan conditions, but also provides solid credit support when facing greater financial needs in the future. Therefore, only by continuously improving their financial literacy can borrowers more calmly face various challenges in the borrowing process, achieving both short-term financial needs and long-term financial health goals. At this stage, loan management also requires borrowers to establish a comprehensive financial monitoring system. In addition to relying on third-party financial tools, many borrowers are beginning to adopt a combined internal and external management model through self-recording and budget planning. Regularly summarizing monthly income and expenditures, analyzing repayment progress and future budgets, not only helps borrowers adjust strategies in time, but also allows them to take remedial measures promptly when financial conditions fluctuate. For those accustomed to managing finances through mobile apps or online platforms, automated repayment reminders and data statistics undoubtedly provide great convenience. For traditional manual record enthusiasts, self-made financial tables and detailed ledgers can also help organize income and expenses and optimize budgets. Regardless of the method, the core lies in building a long-term, consistent, and smart financial management habit, which not only helps borrowers smoothly navigate each financial pressure, but also lays a solid foundation for the steady development of personal finances in the long term. As loan management methods mature and risk prevention measures are gradually implemented, borrowing behavior is gradually transforming from a mere means of raising funds into a comprehensive activity encompassing overall financial planning and credit management. Borrowers need to not only focus on short-term fund turnover, but also place their sights on long-term credit accumulation and financial health. Only under the guidance of this big-picture perspective can borrowers truly achieve rational borrowing, avoiding important decisions that may affect future life due to temporary financial needs. At the same time, this also requires financial institutions and regulatory authorities to continuously improve services and regulatory mechanisms, providing borrowers with a more transparent and efficient lending environment. Under the coordinated efforts of multiple parties, borrowing will gradually become an important tool for promoting economic liquidity and driving the steady development of personal and family finances, rather than evolving into an unmanageable source of risk. In summary, in the modern financial system, borrowing is not only a means of financial support, but also a complex financial management activity. By reading contract terms carefully, creating realistic repayment plans, using smart tools for financial tracking, and taking preventive steps in risk management, borrowers can stay financially secure while benefiting from borrowing. Different parties play different but equally important roles in this process. Borrowers need to improve their financial literacy, financial institutions should continuously improve risk management systems, and regulatory authorities must keep the market in check with strict rules and regulations. Only through the coordinated efforts of all three can the entire lending market achieve effective resource allocation and the sustainable and sound development of personal finances under controllable risks. As loan management continues to advance, many borrowers are gradually realizing that the consequences of improper borrowing behavior are far more severe than short-term financial difficulties. While borrowing money is widely accepted as a flexible means of financial maneuvering, without thorough planning and rational judgment, debt risks can quietly accumulate, profoundly affecting individuals, families, and even the entire financial market. The third section focuses on the cumulative effects of borrowing risks and their multiple consequences, explaining how to avoid falling into debt traps in practice from economic, psychological, and social perspectives. Many borrowers, when first encountering loan products, often overlook a full assessment of future repayment pressures due to urgent financial needs. Initially, a seemingly insignificant small loan may solve immediate financial problems, but when borrowers frequently turn to multiple borrowing channels to meet increasing financial demands, their debt can snowball rapidly. High interest rates and late fees are often the triggers for such risks. In some cases, borrowers struggle to repay the principal and interest in the short term, leading to accumulating overdue fees, turning what should be a short-term solution into a long-term financial burden. The compounding effect of multiple loans not only significantly increases monthly repayment amounts, but may also force borrowers to face damaged credit records or even legal actions due to missed payments. This phenomenon of debt accumulation is not an isolated case, but a common dilemma for many imprudent borrowers. When pursuing low down payments and high loan amounts, borrowers often overlook the stability of their income and future expense changes, resulting in rapidly increasing repayment pressures in a short time. When multiple loan products are active simultaneously, the complexity of repayment dates and cumbersome amount calculations make it easy for borrowers to lose control of their debt. Once debt spirals out of control, it can have long-term negative effects on personal credit. A declining credit score not only limits future loan possibilities, but also creates additional difficulties in purchasing big-ticket items, renting, or even employment. Long-term debt troubles may force borrowers to sell assets, reduce living expenses, or even sacrifice basic life guarantees such as children's education and healthcare, significantly impacting the family's quality of life. Beyond economic pressures, debt accumulation can also have profound psychological and emotional impacts on borrowers. Faced with escalating repayment pressures and deteriorating credit conditions, many borrowers begin to experience unprecedented anxiety and helplessness. Financial difficulties often exacerbate psychological stress, leading some to suffer from insomnia, depression, or even emotional breakdowns. Long-term exposure to such conditions not only impacts work efficiency and family harmony, but can also trap borrowers in a vicious cycle, making more irrational borrowing decisions due to excessive anxiety, further exacerbating financial crises. Social psychology research shows that debt issues often lead to strained interpersonal relationships, social isolation, and in extreme cases, self-abandonment or self-harm tendencies. Therefore, how to scientifically assess risks at the initial borrowing stage and avoid excessive debt has become a critical issue for every borrower. More broadly, widespread irresponsible borrowing practices can trigger chain reactions across the entire financial system. When a significant number of consumers struggle to manage their debt and fall into repayment difficulties, the bad debt ratio of financial institutions will sharply rise, forcing banks and other lenders to tighten loan conditions. This, in turn, may lead to liquidity risks for consumers and small businesses that rely on borrowing to maintain cash flow, severely impacting market liquidity and activity. In extreme cases, widespread debt defaults could even trigger financial crises, affecting economic stability. Therefore, preventing borrowing risks is not just a personal financial issue, but also a crucial topic for financial regulation and market stability. Regulatory bodies play a key role in this regard, continuously improving laws and regulations, strengthening market monitoring, and promoting the application of financial technology to establish an efficient and transparent risk prevention and control system for the lending market. preventing individual debt crises from evolving into systemic financial risks. Facing these challenges, the key to successfully managing debt risks lies in establishing a comprehensive, multi-layered risk prevention and response mechanism. First, borrowers need to conduct strict self-assessments before borrowing, scientifically calculate their repayment capacity, and plan fund usage reasonably to avoid choosing inappropriate loan products due to urgent needs. It is essential to live within one's means, avoid blindly pursuing high loan amounts, and not be misled by seemingly attractive low-interest products while ignoring potential hidden fees and unfavorable conditions. Second, borrowers should develop good financial habits, regularly check personal credit reports, and use various smart tools and budgeting software to continuously monitor their income and expenses. Only through data-driven management can abnormal expenditures and potential risks be identified promptly, allowing for quick corrective actions. At the same time, when facing multiple loans, consolidating debts and focusing on reducing overall burdens are crucial strategies to prevent debt from snowballing. Financial institutions and regulatory bodies also play a crucial role in this process. Financial institutions should continuously improve risk assessment models, leveraging big data and artificial intelligence to dynamically monitor borrowers' credit status and repayment capacity, identify potential default risks in a timely manner, and provide targeted financial advice or risk mitigation measures. For example, when a system detects a borrower's increasing risk of repayment delinquency, the bank can proactively contact the borrower to offer installment adjustments or temporary repayment relief to help them through difficult times. Meanwhile, regulators need to intensify efforts to investigate and penalize improper borrowing behaviors, improve relevant laws and regulations, and ensure the transparency of loan contracts and borrowing processes. Only under strict regulation and efficient risk control mechanisms can the lending market operate healthily, preventing systemic financial risks caused by individual borrower defaults. In the long run, establishing a scientific and transparent borrowing ecosystem not only protects borrowers' interests but also provides a solid foundation for the stable development of the entire economy. For individuals, prudent borrowing, reasonable planning, and regular monitoring are fundamental to ensuring financial health. For financial institutions and regulators, establishing a comprehensive risk assessment system and dynamic early warning mechanisms are crucial barriers to preventing financial crises. Only when borrowers, financial institutions, and regulators work together under multiple protective measures can the lending market truly escape the shadows of reckless borrowing and vicious debt cycles, injecting sustained and stable momentum into economic development. At the same time, society is continuously strengthening education and awareness about borrowing risks and debt management. Promoting financial literacy through various channels, helping the public understand the true meaning of loan products and their potential risks, and gradually improving the financial literacy of the entire population are essential foundations for preventing debt crises. Whether through schools, communities, or media, active efforts should be made to spread the concepts of rational borrowing and living within one's means, helping people establish correct views on money and risk awareness. Only with a comprehensive and in-depth understanding of borrowing behaviors across society can more rational and scientific decisions be made under economic pressures, avoiding long-term financial difficulties caused by excessive borrowing. In this process of borrowing risk prevention and control, individual experiences and case lessons are equally valuable. Many instances of falling into debt crises due to improper borrowing often serve as cautionary tales for future borrowers. Those who have successfully controlled debt risks through scientific planning, reasonable consolidation, and dynamic management also provide valuable lessons for others. The key is not whether to borrow but how to borrow. Only by fully recognizing borrowing risks and taking effective management measures can borrowing become a powerful tool for personal and family economic development, rather than a heavy burden and source of risk. In conclusion, in the modern financial environment, borrowing as a common means of financial support carries both significant economic opportunities and risks that cannot be ignored. Debt accumulation, high interest rates, credit damage, and potential legal and psychological issues all remind every borrower of the importance of prudent borrowing and systematic management. By conducting thorough assessments before borrowing, creating reasonable repayment plans, using smart financial tools for dynamic monitoring, and establishing strict risk prevention mechanisms through multi-party collaboration, borrowers can effectively avoid severe consequences caused by improper borrowing. At the same time, financial institutions and regulators need to continuously improve risk management systems and legal frameworks to create a safe, transparent, and fair borrowing environment for the market. In this process, every borrower should remember that borrowing is not merely a method of securing funds, but also a long-term commitment to future creditworthiness and financial well-being. Only through thorough preparation before borrowing, maintaining rationality during the borrowing process, and strictly adhering to repayment plans afterward, can the dual objectives of financial management and fund allocation be fully realized, ensuring personal economic stability and contributing to the healthy operation of the entire financial market. With the continuous improvement of loan risk management measures and the advancement of financial technology, the entire lending market is gradually becoming more standardized, transparent, and efficient. In this process, the collaborative efforts of regulatory authorities, financial institutions, and borrowers are particularly important. Financial regulators are continuously refining laws and regulations and stepping up efforts to combat illegal and high-risk lending activities. By establishing strict approval standards and information disclosure requirements, they have built a relatively comprehensive market supervision system. This ensures a fair and open trading environment for both lenders and borrowers, while supporting the stability of the entire financial system. Financial institutions, on this basis, are increasingly incorporating advanced technologies like big data, AI, and blockchain to monitor borrowers' credit status and repayment capabilities in real time, identify potential risks early, and take preventive measures before they escalate. Meanwhile, many banks and lending platforms now offer services like automatic repayment reminders, online credit report access, and risk alerts, helping borrowers monitor their finances and balance risk and reward. Under this multi-layered and comprehensive risk prevention and control system, the role of borrowers is also evolving. From relying solely on the credit assessments of financial institutions in the past, borrowers are now increasingly becoming the primary managers of their own credit. More and more people are embracing the idea of responsible borrowing and living within their means. Borrowers not only need to conduct thorough self-assessments before taking out loans, clearly defining their funding needs and repayment capabilities, but also utilize various digital tools to monitor their financial status in real time, ensuring that each loan is repaid as planned. Regularly reviewing credit reports, monitoring income and expenses, and proactively working with financial institutions to adjust repayment plans are now key parts of borrowers' financial management. Only through a combination of self-management and external oversight can borrowing effectively support emergency funds and long-term planning without leading to uncontrolled debt or credit crises. At the same time, the continuous opening and internationalization of financial markets are bringing new opportunities to the lending environment. With the accelerating pace of cross-border e-commerce and international capital flows, the lending market is no longer confined to domestic boundaries, but is gradually becoming globalized. The exchange and cooperation between different countries and regions in lending products, risk management, and legal regulations are also making it possible to build a more unified and transparent international lending market. Regulatory authorities in various countries, drawing on each other's experiences, are gradually forming cross-border regulatory cooperation mechanisms to prevent systemic financial risks caused by information asymmetry and regulatory loopholes. Meanwhile, international financial institutions are continuously exploring and promoting standardized lending products and risk assessment models, striving to provide borrowers with fairer and more efficient financial services globally. This trend of internationalization not only offers borrowers more financing channels and more favorable loan conditions, but also drives domestic financial institutions to continuously improve their risk management and service levels, maintaining a competitive edge in the global market. Public awareness of borrowing risks and improved financial literacy are also critical. In recent years, various financial education initiatives, financial planning lectures, online education platforms, and media coverage have been continuously strengthened, leading more and more people to pay attention to their own credit management and risk control. Through these channels, the public is gradually realizing that borrowing is not a panacea for financial needs, but a financial behavior that requires careful consideration and scientific management. Borrowing can only be a tool for economic growth and personal development if borrowers fully understand loan terms, assess their repayment ability, and create detailed repayment plans. Financial institutions and regulators are also actively promoting consumer education, spreading awareness about responsible borrowing and risk management to improve overall financial literacy. This collective effort not only reduces individual debt risks, but also supports broader market stability and growth. In the ever-changing economic environment, the lending market is facing unprecedented challenges and opportunities. Continuous technological innovation, the diversification of market demands, and the ongoing improvement of regulatory mechanisms are providing new ideas and momentum for the standardization and optimization of borrowing behaviors. In the future, with the further popularization of advanced risk management systems and financial big data, financial institutions will be able to assess borrowers' credit risks more accurately and develop more personalized loan solutions. As borrowers improve their financial literacy, they will learn to use these tools for real-time monitoring and dynamic financial management. This approach allows both lenders and borrowers to improve capital flow efficiency, minimize financial risks through strict risk management and transparency, and achieve mutual benefits. In summary, fueled by rapid advancements in financial technology, the lending market is entering a new era of enhanced security, transparency, and intelligence. Borrowers, financial institutions, and regulatory authorities, through collaboration among all stakeholders, are building a stable and healthy lending ecosystem by improving risk assessment, introducing advanced technologies, and strengthening consumer education. Only when all parties shoulder their respective responsibilities and obligations can borrowing truly meet individuals' short-term funding needs and long-term financial planning without evolving into a burden that threatens personal credit and economic security. In the future, we have every reason to believe that, with the collective efforts and continuous innovation of the entire society, the lending market will continue to develop in a more mature, standardized, and efficient direction, providing a solid foundation for economic stability and social prosperity. In the preceding discussion, we have thoroughly explored the fundamental concepts of borrowing, operational elements, risk management, and the roles of market regulation and financial technology in the lending process, gradually breaking down the many roles borrowing plays in modern economic life. Now we will synthesize the content of each section to summarize the entire borrowing process and provide corresponding recommendations and outlooks, offering practical guidance to borrowers to ensure long-term financial health and credit security while enjoying financial support. Overall, borrowing as a means of raising funds not only helps individuals and families cope with short-term financial difficulties, but also injects vitality into business expansion and socio-economic development. However, as previously mentioned, each loan comes with a series of complex responsibilities and risks. Borrowers need to strike a balance between their financial needs and future repayment capabilities, thoroughly assess their financial situation, and carefully review all terms before signing a loan agreement. Only in this way can they avoid the pitfalls of high interest rates, accumulating debt, or credit damage caused by negligence or haste. In fact, borrowing is not merely a simple economic transaction, but a long-term commitment to future credit and financial planning. Establishing effective budget management and repayment plans, utilizing smart tools to monitor personal financial flows, and timely communication with financial institutions to adjust repayment strategies are all crucial measures to ensure financial security and stable operations. At the same time, financial institutions and regulatory bodies play a vital role in this process. With the widespread application of advanced technologies such as big data, artificial intelligence, and blockchain, financial institutions have gradually established comprehensive risk assessment and early warning mechanisms. These enable real-time monitoring of borrowers' credit status, timely identification of potential default risks, and effective risk mitigation measures. This not only reduces the likelihood of systemic risks caused by individual borrower defaults, but also fosters a more open, transparent, and fair trading environment for the entire market. Regulatory bodies, through continuous improvement of laws and regulations and strengthened market supervision, ensure that every loan operates in an orderly manner within the legal framework, providing a solid institutional foundation for borrowing activities. Under such multi-party collaboration, borrowing is gradually transforming into an efficient and secure method of fund allocation, meeting daily financial needs while promoting stable economic development. On this basis, consumer education and the enhancement of financial literacy are particularly important. In modern society, borrowing has become increasingly common, yet not every borrower possesses sufficient financial knowledge to fully understand loan agreements, interest rate calculations, and potential risks. Various financial education activities like seminars, online courses, and media campaigns can teach the public to live within their means and plan rationally, thereby raising awareness of risks and helping people make smarter, more rational decisions when money is tight. Only when everyone possesses basic financial literacy can the borrowing market better avoid debt crises caused by reckless borrowing, achieving efficient resource allocation and long-term economic stability. Looking ahead, the development of the borrowing market will continue to benefit from technological advancements and ongoing regulatory improvements. As financial technology evolves, more intelligent tools will be integrated into the borrowing process, allowing borrowers to monitor fund flows in real time and adjust budgets and repayment plans promptly. Meanwhile, cross-border regulatory cooperation and the promotion of international lending products will further enhance information transparency and risk-sharing on a larger scale, providing a safeguard for the stable operation of the global economy. Financial institutions, while developing new lending models, will also place greater emphasis on personalized services for borrowers, offering flexible and diverse loan products to meet the needs of different groups and implementing detailed risk management. It is through such multidimensional and comprehensive collaboration that the future borrowing market will undoubtedly develop in a more mature, standardized, and efficient direction. Finally, for every borrower, correctly understanding the act of borrowing is not just about the convenience of accessing funds, but also about setting up a long-term plan for staying financially healthy and building good credit. Whether facing urgent family needs, educational expenses for children, or business expansion funding, the principle of rational borrowing should be upheld to ensure that every loan has adequate repayment safeguards, avoiding short-sighted financial operations that could lead to long-term financial difficulties. Only by planning carefully and managing strictly before, during, and after borrowing can borrowing truly be a positive tool, becoming a solid pillar for personal and socio-economic development. In summary, borrowing, as an essential component of modern economic life, relies not only on borrowers' deep understanding of risks and responsibilities, but also on the full support of financial institutions and regulatory bodies in terms of technology, systems, and education. Through collective efforts, a borrowing system that's transparent, fair, and keeps risks in check can be established, enabling borrowers to enjoy flexible financial support while ensuring long-term credit and financial security, thereby achieving a situation where everyone benefits in economic life. In the future, with continuous advancements in technology and regulation, we have every reason to believe that a more mature, intelligent, and efficient borrowing market is emerging, providing steady support for the global economy's stable growth.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. A steep and rapid fall. Plunge. To contribute, especially in a discussion. Weigh in. Affording gain, benefit, or profit. Profitable. The amount of something that is produced. Yield. Take another look at something. Think outside the box. Let's try that faster. To contribute, especially in a discussion. Weigh in. Affording gain, benefit, or profit. Profitable. Take another look at something. Think outside the box. The amount of something that is produced. Yield. A steep and rapid fall. Plunge. Now say the word and hear it in a sentence. Plunge. The prices of houses in the US took a huge plunge this month. Plunge. The car went off the road and plunged into the abyss. Plunge. The value of our stock has taken a major plunge. Weigh in. Carol usually weighs in with good ideas at our meetings. Weigh in. Many factors weighed into our decision to fire you. Weigh in. If you weigh in all the pros and cons of buying a new TV, you would see that we don't really need it. Profitable. Their business is very profitable. Profitable. I think we can be profitable if we reduce our operational costs. Profitable. Real estate is one of the most profitable businesses in the world. Yield. The stock you currently own yields about 10% per annum. Yield. I am very unhappy with the yield of these securities. Yield. The yield on your securities could be greatly affected with inflation. Think outside the box. When you have to solve a problem, it's good to think outside the box. Think outside the box. Some of the great inventions of our time were invented because inventors decided to think outside the box. Think outside the box. Thinking outside the box can offer a different and novel perspective on things and life.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode and gained some new insights. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any future episodes. See you next time.